Now we're rolling. Damage Plan MMA podcast. Back again. Episode number 2 for the day. Zach. How you feeling over there, man?
I feel fine.
Can I gloat a little bit today?
Go for it. Gloat.
Did
you and that stupid wig.
So, did you think that the fights would go down the way that they did, the main event in particular?
No, I did not.
I don't think anybody did. And if you did, then props to you. But I did not see that fight going the way that it did.
There were a few things. I mean, we're going to talk a lot. We're going to cover the whole card briefly, but really the only real things to talk about is one, how impressive Robert Whittaker looked.
That was awesome. That was the one that I got totally wrong.
And you missed on that one, and I was dead set on this one. And then, but I mean, should we just talk about the main event first?
Let's just talk about it. Yeah, why not? Let's just go into it.
That's all that really matters at this point.
Yeah.
So all I have to say is this: the fact that Justin Gaethje couldn't get any respect from Khabib after he hit him a few times was pretty stunning to me.
I think
he connected hard
a couple times,
2 or 3 times, and it didn't even faze Khabib.
Yeah, he just kept walking forward. He was on a mission, and I just didn't see him losing that fight. I mean, you could say the leg kicks might have added up later on as the fight went on, but
I full-heartedly agree with Justin Gaethje when he said that too, though. I think that Khabib showed an urgency to finish that fight because that fight was finished in the second round. I think if it gets to the 4th round, Khabib's a different fighter and can't walk at that point.
He walked out of the cage. He did walk out.
Oh, I know, but you still have your adrenaline, and he still has everything. But I'm saying that more leg kicks would have come. He would have landed a few more leg kicks, and they would have came. And at that point, it would have changed the fight. And I think Khabib felt that and knew that.
I was surprised at how it seemed like Justin was off his game plan.
I've never seen an urgency for Khabib to finish a fight like that.
I mean, he's always pressing forward, though.
Pressing forward, but I felt like he was looking for the finish in the 1st and 2nd round. And I don't really feel like the Conor fight. I don't really feel like he was looking for a finish in the 1st or 2nd round. Same with the Poirier fight. They came and he took them. He let them make the mistake on the cage, right? Gave the back or whatever and do it. Khabib went and took that fight.
Do you think that because of the way Justin was fighting, the way he was throwing his punches, I was surprised that he was as wild as he was.
He got a little flustered for sure. But he did a great job of trying to stay off the cage or off the fence, but he was almost running the whole time doing it.
Did you think he would get taken down as easily as he did?
Yes. Yeah. I believed he'd get taken down. Nobody's 100% stopping Khabib's takedown. I thought he'd have a little more success getting back up.
Yeah.
It was the fact that I thought that Justin's distance control, which he did an okay job of, and landed some hard shots and landed some leg kicks. And I mean, they were leg kick. I mean,
those kicks were hard. And actually, Khabib's stand up wasn't bad. I mean, Khabib was cracking him back. There was a couple times towards the end of that first round, he was probably winning the stand up.
But that's Gaethje's style, right? He'll take one to give one, you know. And his defense isn't known for his offensive or his striking defense by any means. But he, I mean, the other thing that I thought was really surprising is 2 of the 3 judges gave the round to Gaethje that first round.
I could see that. I could see him.
I could see it, but I thought it was surprising.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Are you gonna wear that stupid thing the whole?
Just until we're done talking about Khabib, then I'm going to change it.
Okay.
Is it distracting you?
Oh my gosh, it's so bad. It's just, I mean,
and what what a speech afterwards, after he wins. Like, I mean, you got to applaud the guy for that.
So I was always a big, Justin could give him a fight. I was big that I really believed that Tony Ferguson could give him a tough fight. And you know what? I'm convinced. Somebody wants to fight Khabib at Nurmagomedov at 155 pounds, he's going to win. Until he's past his prime and physically can't do things the way he does them, he's going to win that fight every time.
We've talked about it before. He's just a different breed. He's a different animal, man.
I don't think I'm going to say it. I don't think Tony would have solved it. Now, I mean, it's hard to say because, MMA math doesn't work. And just because Justin beat Tony doesn't 100% mean that Tony beats Khabib, after Khabib beats, and I understand that. But just from what I saw, that Khabib, his skills would have to diminish for him to lose. And props to him for retiring when and why he did. He said, I gave my word to my mom, and anybody that thinks that he's going to go back and come back for a money fight is out of their mind. One. And two, I think that there's a lot of honor and respect of saying, I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else left to prove. I'm good.
I mean, as fans, we obviously want him to stay. We want to see the GSP fight. I want to see it. Nope. I want to see him fight GSP, but I respect his decision to leave, and he gave his word.
So here's my question for you. You want to see the GSP fight, and I kind of want to see the Tony Ferguson fight, but GSP's in his 40s.
It just,
like, if Khabib goes and smashes GSP, it doesn't do anything for him.
It doesn't do anything for me. It won't really do anything. But I do agree with you. I think the Ferguson match would be intriguing because of Ferguson's ground game. I just don't think it's
obviously better at jiu-jitsu than Justin Gaethje.
But I mean, Khabib's just he's just going to smash him. Like, it's just going to get. Yep. It's just going to be the same thing. Like, he's done for every fight since he's been in the UFC.
I have what I feel like are valid criticisms I've had for Khabib that I wanted to see, like, before I would announce him like the best, unbeatable, whatever. The way he just beat Justin Gaethje, like, I'm good. I'm good, dude. You want to retire as the best ever? You're not going to hear any argument from me.
That's been a hot top. That's been a
well, okay. He retires the best 155er ever.
Yeah,
that's undisputed, unquestionable.
I think people, obviously, everybody's greatest of all times list is going to be different, and we can argue it till you can't talk anymore.
Well, before it was he didn't beat enough top tier guys.
But who was he beat? Who was there?
Yeah, but beating, not just beating, but finishing Conor, Poirier, Gaethje, 1, 2, 3. That for me makes me go, he beats any top tier guy.
I just was impressed with the way that he always went out to try to finish people. Like, every fight was, even though there was a decision with Al Iaquinta, a decision with Barbosa, he mauled those dudes. Like, he mauled those guys.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I have a
Halloween store rip. I got at the Halloween store for $10.
Rip. Now, you're on my list with Jaden Marshall. You need to come up to one hit. I'm gonna choke you next too.
I obviously I was high on him after Saturday. I thought you got to throw GSP up there. You got to throw John Jones up there, whether you agree with his antics or not. Like,
no, you don't.
Probably
you don't have
there's
to,
probably
you 100% do not have to throw John Jones in your list.
You don't have to?
Nope.
Out of everybody he's beaten?
If you want to say John, I don't know if John Jones has ever competed clean besides a couple of fights in the UFC.
Oh man, I don't know.
What if he's clean now and that's why he's struggling with guys?
It could be. It very well could be. But I mean, he beat some top guys back in the day. I mean, you're talking.
I know he did, but that was pre-USADA. That was pre-USADA. All pre-USADA. And he's failed enough that when there's smoke, there's fire for me. That now I'm not saying that unequivocally, like John Jones isn't in my GOAT rankings or whatever. But if somebody says to me, no, I'm not ranking John Jones in my greatest of all time, you're not going to get any pushback from me on that.
Who Alexis agrees with you.
It's because she's smart.
You could, like I said, you could spin it. I really liked what DC had to say. Now, granted, he's his training partner, and I know he's going to, but the way he put it, it stuck with me. Khabib does not make mistakes. He made zero. He's had 13, 14 fights in the UFC? 13. No mistakes. Zero.
That's not true.
Where did he make a mistake at?
When he was irresponsible with his weight cuts and had to pull out of fights multiple times for poor weight cuts.
But I'm talking about in a fight.
Oh, sure.
In his 13 fights that he had against his opponents.
But if you're nitpicking,
zero.
But by the way, and this is what really needs to be. This is what really needs to be laid out here. When you're nitpicking between greatest of all time, you're talking about challenging great versus great versus great versus great. I mean, I don't know what your list is. It's probably some sort of Khabib, GSP, Mighty Mouse, John Jones.
Can't leave out Amanda Nunes. And
Anderson Silva, and then of course you have the Amanda Nunes in there. You know, Valentina Shevchenko maybe, but probably not because Amanda beat her. Like, you know, that your list. You're talking, let's just talk male athletes. So your list is probably some sort of Anderson, John, GSP, Khabib, Mighty Mouse.
And you saw my question about who, if all these guys are fighting on a night and they're all fighting the number one guy, who would you in their prime
and they're healthy?
Who do you bet the house on?
So that was actually the one thing that made me go, maybe Khabib's the GOAT because he wins every time. See, because here's the other thing that I have to wrap my head. Who's the greatest mixed martial artist of all time? To me, Khabib is not he has the most dominant skill set and he is the most dominant MMA fighter of all time. Yeah. But to me, like somebody like Mighty Mouse or John Jones or even Anderson Silva or GSP, they're well-rounded. He's the only one in that list that isn't a completely well-rounded fighter. Now, was his striking better? Sure. He's made improvements. I would hope so after a 10 plus career in professional sports that you get competent in an area that was maybe lacking.
Yeah.
But he has the most dominant skill set. But I mean, Anderson Silva, best striker we've ever seen, black belt in jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? John Jones, nobody ever takes him down. Gus took him down one time, elite striker, distance control, whatever. GSP, we all know GSP's GSP, right? Mighty Mouse might be the most complete mixed martial artist on the planet today still.
100%. Yeah. 100%.
And so that's where what is your definition of the GOAT?
Yeah.
And that's really what it comes down to here. If it's just results, it's Khabib. But if it's mixed martial artist, it's probably, for me, it's GSP or Mighty Mouse.
I agree with that. I could get with that.
Because John Jones failed the drug test and so did Anderson Silva.
Didn't somebody say Anderson Silva's was overturned or something? I didn't think so, but
I could tell you other stuff off air too that I know about Anderson. So
where there's smoke, there's fire, right?
Yes.
Usually. So where does the lightweight division go right now? Because you got Poirier and McGregor. Is that the interim title fight? Poirier and McGregor?
No, well, it's not interim. It's the new title fight.
Well, the new title. Yeah, I'm sorry. The new title.
So This is my shocking stance. It wasn't that I'm softening on Khabib. This is my shocking stance.
Okay.
Justin Gaethje just said, if Conor wants to pull out of his Poirier fight, me and him can fight for the title. And let's go. I don't know what Dana's going to do. The fairest and the correct thing to do is for Poirier to leave Conor at the altar and Poirier to fight Justin Gaethje for the 155 title.
I agree. I think
that is the fair, correct move to make for the UFC.
Yeah, because I don't think Conor's in it for long-term type. He wins the belt, he probably leaves. He goes up a weight class or whatever.
I'm not even kidding. I don't think Dana lets Conor fight for the title without a clause in there that says if you win, you must defend it.
Yeah, yep. How did Conor move up in the rankings? How did he move up to 4 and Dan Hooker could go down to 5?
I don't know.
That's the UFC official rankings. And they got Justin as the interim champ. So if Poirier and McGregor do fight, do you match up Gaethje and Ferguson?
No, because Gaethje just mopped Ferguson.
Yeah, that's true. I did. So
the fight is Gaethje versus Michael Chandler. That's what UFC is going to do.
Screw Dan Hooker.
Yeah,
Charles Oliveira.
Yeah, Tony Ferguson. What you do, what I think should happen and what will happen, obviously, are probably going to be very different.
Yeah.
What should happen is Dustin Poirier versus Justin Gaethje 2 for the lightweight title should happen. What probably will happen, I think, is going to be Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier. I think that fight turns into the 155 title fight. And then I would imagine that Justin Gaethje fights Michael Chandler for a chance to be the number 1 contender. And I would imagine they're going to give Dan Hooker or somebody like that to Tony Ferguson. And if Tony Ferguson needs to get another win.
Oh yeah. Before he fights. Yes. He's got to, yeah, he's definitely got to redeem himself after that loss.
Because it's not like he just lost. Like he kind of
he got smashed. But I like Dan Hooker being up there. I mean, him and Poirier, that was a great fight. It's a great fight.
Yeah, I mean, Dan Hooker deserves a guy right there, and that's a good enough win that if Tony beats Dan Hooker the way Justin Poirier did, that Tony Ferguson should immediately move to number 1 contender spot again.
You know who we forgot to add on our pound per pound greatest fighter of all time list? So this guy, which you'll know after I tell you, he beats Shane De La Rosa. He beats Roy Nelson. He beats Gabriel Gonzalez. He loses to Junior Dos Santos. But then, listen to this. He knocks out Mark Hunt, knocks out Andre Arlovski, knocks out Fabricio Verdum, knocks out Alistair Overeem, knocks out Junior Dos Santos. Then he beats Francis Ngannou, loses to Cormier, comes back and knocks Cormier back out, and then beats Cormier again.
He's the greatest heavyweight of all time.
It's got to be. That's freaking impressive.
Take that back. He's the greatest UFC heavyweight of all time.
Just UFC?
Yeah.
Who's got that kind of resume?
Fedor.
Does he?
Go look who Fedor beat and how long he went undefeated as a heavyweight.
He did go.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
He did go. He did fight for a long time. That was his claim to fame, I guess.
It was ridiculous, man.
I mean, Rampage, Bader, old, Shale, old, Frank Mir, old. I'm going back because those are all old. I mean, who does he beat? He doesn't beat anybody. I mean, if you want to talk about all the Pride guys he beat, Mark Coleman, I guess, is big. Mark Hunt, big. Yeah. He's just beat everybody. Antonio Nogueira, Kevin Randleman, Mark Coleman. I do like those. Gary Goodridge. Yeah, I don't know, man. Stipe's, I think, gives him a run for his money.
I do too. And I mean, I would love to see that fight, but we never will.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying to dismiss Fedor's what he did at the heavyweight division in pride for all those years and stuff too, I think would be a little bit. I don't know.
Well, the lightweight division is freaking on fire right about now. I'm excited. I'm curious to see what Uncle Dana does with that Poirier McGregor fight. Real curious, because it can't be at 170 anymore if it's for a belt, right?
Well, Dana actually said he wouldn't allow that anyways. Dana said, no, that's going to be at 155.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean,
how do you see that fight going? Think it goes the same as the first time?
I would say Dustin probably lasts a little bit longer. I think it. Well, let me preface this with saying, how engaged is Conor McGregor?
Yeah.
If Conor's 100% engaged in the game and in the fight game,
yeah,
then I think Conor knocks him out again. I think he hits too hard, and I think he's too precise with his striking, and he still has that skill that. I mean, he's not going to win a brawl with Dustin Poirier.
Yeah.
Dustin's too powerful and too strong, but he might be faster than him and touch him enough times and drop him. And I think that's what would happen. I would guess a late first or a second round knockout.
I don't know, man.
If he's engaged. If he's not engaged, though, Dustin Poirier would love to whoop Conor. I'm sure he would.
Probably would.
If Conor's not engaged, Dustin Poirier, yeah, that would be a bad night for Conor.
So going back to the card, let's talk about the co-main event a little bit more that I called completely wrong, because I thought Cannonier was he did say he broke something in his arm with one of the first kicks that Whitaker threw, so maybe that held him back a little bit, but Whitaker was on point, man. He looked impressive. His boxing was just he was the better fighter. It wasn't even close, in my opinion.
It was not even close.
But now where do you go with Whitaker now? Do we really want to see him get back in there with Izzy? And
did you listen to the post-fight press conference?
No, I haven't listened to it yet.
It's very interesting. Whitaker said so he's not fighting again until March or April.
Oh, I did hear a little bit about him saying if it
not
comes
doing the holidays. Doing the holidays. He's like, I'm not worried about because I'm not worried about the rematch necessarily happen. It'll happen at some point, but I'm not worried about it. And he goes, my mentality is you line him up and I'll knock him down. And I kind of like that. I kind of dig that. His reaction when they asked him to fight Izzy, and he's like, man, he's so good and he's only getting better.
Yeah.
You know what kind of made me think? I kind of think Whitaker's waiting for Izzy to move on to light heavyweight.
He did say that. He's like, hey, if he wants to move up, I think that's the move, honestly. Because there's nobody at middleweight that I want to see him fight right now. Nobody. I don't want to see him fight Hermanson. I don't want to see him fight Till. I think he just. I want to see him fight. I want to see him fight Till. I think he knocks him out.
So do I, but I still want to see it.
So Till and Hermanson is basically your next title contender then?
I guess.
For Izzy?
I guess.
I want to see him move up, man. Just have him move up. Fight Blachowicz. That's what I want to see.
It was pretty. I was pretty high on Whitaker, and I told you that. And I thought he was. I thought. My logic was if Yoel can't put him away in 10 rounds, Jared Cannonier is not going to be able to in 3. And I think I was 100% right on that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that Whitaker could do it and make it look so easy. I thought he made it look easy.
I think 100%. I agree.
He was levels above Jared Cannonier.
I know. And I told you right before the fight, I'm like, man, I want to pick Whitaker, but I've already made my pick for Cannonier, so I'm not going to go against it.
They're so funny.
Yeah, there was some other great fights on there. Miranda Maverick with a brutal elbow on Liana. Oh, that elbow split her nose open. Didn't even break it. It looks like it just split her. And
how tough is that girl? They were saying Dr. Stoppage, and she was like, no.
Yeah, she was like, yeah. Did you see her Instagram? How split open that was? Whew.
I did. I sent that to Aldo this morning today too. It was
dude. Did you watch the Sam Alvey fight? I know you were busy in the morning. Did you get to rewatch that?
Yes.
Sam Alvey. I thought he won.
I thought he won too.
I thought he did enough to win, even though I bet and won money because of Jung. But maybe I thought Sam Alvey did enough.
Maybe one of the judges did too.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. Wasn't there a 30-27 on that one too? I think there was.
Yep.
I didn't understand. And maybe it was just the pressure because Ung Jung kept coming forward, but he wasn't doing anything. He wasn't throwing anything.
Sam Alvey landed more strikes, more significant strikes. He got knocked down once. That was it.
He was starting to get tagged towards the end. Like the third round, I thought Ung Jung definitely was taking over, but those first 2 rounds, I thought Alvey did enough to win. But
so did I. Poor Sam.
I'll take the draw.
Your boy Rachmaninoff
pulled out the first round or what?
Very impressive. Very, very impressive. Oh, you got to remember, I didn't get to watch that fight either because I was training still.
Yeah,
but I went back and watched the highlight. Very, very impressive to be able to submit somebody like Cowboy Oliveira like that
in your first UFC fight.
That's a guy that's going to get a nice push.
And he was composed. He wasn't, he even took a couple shots too, and just
he's going to get a nice push.
Those guys coming over from that area, that wave of guys coming over from that Kazakhstan, and those guys are just like we talked about with Khabib. They're just a different breed, man.
Yeah.
How old is that kid too? He's Shavkat Romanov. He's only 26 years old. Just turned 26 too.
He's going to get a nice push.
Yeah, I think so too.
My boy Casey Kenny came through.
That was
a war.
Oh man.
I picked up that fight in the second round, watched the second and third round, and that fight was a war, man.
Yeah, that was a great fight.
Great fight.
Wood looked good. Wood stand up looked good.
Very good.
That was another close fight that I thought could have went either way. Phil Hawes, I think we called that. We knew that was going to happen.
Don't forget Tai Tuivasa. Don't forget
Tai Tuivasa. Dude, I love Tai Tuivasa.
My boy Bam Bam. He once he had Struve hurt, it was over. He has that killer instinct.
He does. He really does.
He opened up on that dude, and that was awesome. Got the finish with 1 second left in the round.
The other one was Volkov, man. Volkov, looks scary, man. How about him and Overeem? Next, Volkov versus Overeem. What do you think of that?
It's probably a pretty good fight to make.
And then that's your title fight.
Have they fought?
I don't think so. I mean, Volkov's he's number 7. Overeem's number 5. I don't think they fought before. Derek Lewis, Rosenstrike, Curtis Blades, Francis. You got to think Francis and Stipe's next, right?
Yeah, but dude, Francis getting frustrated.
I think he is too.
I would.
But I was really impressed with Volkov though. I thought he looked good.
He looked great. Big Russian.
Powerful. What else do we have on that card that was really good? Phil Hawes, like we just talked about.
Your girl Lauren Murphy got her first submission in MMA history, professional MMA win via submission.
I know. That was impressive though too. You got to know that was going to happen though too. Her and the Phil Hawes fight. If you're a betting person and you didn't make money on this card, you aren't a fan, or you didn't listen to our podcast before.
You aren't a fan. You stop it with that. But yeah,
okay, real, you're a fan, but you probably should have listened to our podcast because I think
to our podcast because we all made money on this card.
I literally missed one. I called one fight wrong, and that was the Whitaker fight. Every fight I guessed, I had right.
And for the record, even though I was talking myself into Justin Gaethje and kind of had it convinced in my head, I did say you build a parlay around Khabib and you hedge with Gaethje, so you get a win-win. I was trying to create the avenue for Gaethje to win. I didn't actually believe in my heart that he was going to win for sure and go out and bet $1,000 on Justin Gaethje. You know what I mean? I
think the odds were there. I bet on Justin. I thought Khabib was going to win. I thought I would win, but the value was definitely there on Justin.
Yeah, but Phil Hawes, that was easy. Lauren Murphy, that was easy money. We finally got an end to the Ankalaev and Kutabala rivalry, and
no controversy there.
Nope, his lights were all the way out on that one. Rest in peace, bro. That was fun. It was a fun fight, though.
That was a fun fight. So, I mean, gosh, where does he go from in that 205 division now?
Ankalaev, he's he's got a big boy fight coming up soon.
You got to put him up there in the top. I got to give him a top 10 guy, don't you? I mean, he's lost. He lost his first. He lost to Paul Craig, but then he's on a 1, 2, 3. He's on a 4-fight win streak.
Nikita Krylov, the number 8 guy.
Yeah,
that's a good fight for him. Volkan Ozdemir.
Ozdemir, man, so many good fights out there to make. So many good fights. To you, I already told you this. I already talked about this, but my little, I shouldn't say it's controversy. What's the word for it? My conspiracy theory on Colby Covington and Jorge Masvidal.
Yeah.
Like why they haven't been, why has nobody talked about them in the last couple of weeks? Even after Usman and Burns fell out, we haven't heard anything about Covington and Jorge. Nothing. Why do you think that is, Zach? Am I reaching?
Well, maybe not. Jorge's been pretty actively campaigning with Trump.
I know,
he might just be busy.
Well, Colby's obviously, yeah, he's really super busy in there. But Colby's he hasn't hidden the fact that he's a huge Trump supporter either.
Oh, really? Is he? That's weird.
Yeah. Do you think that maybe there was a little bit of, hey, let's just save the drama until after the election type thing going on with those two?
It's possible. I mean, I can definitely see it's possible.
I don't know. It just ran through my head one night.
I have to do a potty break so you can talk about your conspiracy for a second.
Zach. So, all right, Zach has to pee this time, not me. But that's my conspiracy theory. You got two guys that are huge Trump supporters. So why wouldn't, if you're in Trump's campaign, maybe you're reaching out to these guys and saying, hey, maybe you guys just don't talk trash to each other. Let's just not divide us anymore, and let's just keep it together. But then after the election, then I'm going to bet you that you're going to see more talk of Covington fighting Jorge Masvidal. I said it right here. Remember this. Mark this down at 32 minutes and 18 seconds on the podcast. You're going to hear Colby Covington, Jorge Masvidal are going to fight, but it's not going to be till after November 3rd. That's my conspiracy theory. I think we covered everything on the card. We covered the Walt Harris-Volkov fight. We covered Liliana, Joanna, and Miranda Maverick. Joe Alvarez got a slick submission on Yokolov, which Yokolov was supposed to be a very good on the ground too, but he got submitted. Joe Alvarez is one to watch out for too. Both those guys over 6 feet tall for that division is just insane.
Good job, man. Held the fort down.
I was just rambling. I was talking about the Joe Alvarez fight a little bit.
He's impressive.
That was impressive. That was a slick submission too.
All right. So,
dude, coming up, guess what we have Thursday that nobody's probably going to be talking about?
What?
Gegard Mousasi and Douglas Lima in Bellator.
Oh my gosh, that's a great fight.
A huge fight. Bellator Thursday night.
Lima's going up to middleweight?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay.
It's the vacant middleweight champ. This is for the vacant. I guess their middleweight championship's been vacated. So, that's a big one. One championship on Friday. I think we got LFA on Friday. That Vanessa Demopoulos, who is freaking slick. She's back on the ground on Friday. She beat that Corey McKenna chick who is legit. No, not Corey McKenna. She lost to Corey McKenna, but before that, she beat that Sam Hughes girl that I think will be in the UFC.
Yeah.
And then we got a fight this weekend. We got Anderson Silva's retirement fight this weekend. Against Uriah Hall. How do you see that playing out?
I think that I actually think it depends more which Uriah Hall we see rather than which. I think Anderson's pretty consistent. I think if Uriah Hall is on and he's good, he's the most up and down, underwhelming or jaw-droppingly amazing fighter in the UFC to me.
Yeah, the talent's there.
He shows flashes of being an absolute world champion. And then he also shows fights where it's like, dude, like, what are you doing?
He's getting up there now, though. He's 36 years old, almost 37. Well, yeah, 36.
I know. It's been a while. But I mean, Uriah Hall's and I worry for Anderson in this fight. I don't like it because I think Anderson very well could win. Remember, Uriah Hall was going to be the next Anderson Silva.
Yeah. Yep.
And
he's coming off of. He hasn't been very impressive his last 5 fights, 6, 7.
But when Uriah wins, it's devastating.
Yeah, I think this is going to.
That's what I don't want to see with Anderson. I don't want to see Anderson knocked out. I don't want to see him blow out his ACL again from leg kicks. I don't want to. I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him break his leg again from kicking somebody. Like, he's old, and as somebody who is trained. One of my coaches is a former training partner with Anderson Silva. Most people at Anderson Silva inside circle don't want him fighting anymore either.
I don't think he should. I mean, he's 1 2 3 4 5. He's 1-6 in his last 7 fights.
Yeah, man. It's like
knockout, broken leg, decision, win, and then another decision. And then
who's the decision win against?
Derek Brunson. Back 2.5 years ago.
That's right.
But he lost to Cormier, lost to Bisping, lost to Weidman twice.
Okay, let's do this though. Let's be fair to Anderson. The loss to Cormier at 205 on a day and a half's notice because John Jones popped at UFC 200.
That's right. Yep.
Right. Lost to Bisping. Yes, it says he lost, but go watch that fight. Tell me you lost.
I don't remember that fight, so
okay. You want a fight to watch? Go watch that fight and tell me who won and lost that fight. Because all right. I'll bet you $20 right now you're going to say Anderson Silva won that fight. Bisping won that fight because it was in London.
I think I do remember that now. Now that you're saying that, I think I do.
I remember watching that. It was in the morning, but it was a good fight. But I mean, Anderson dropped Bisping down twice. I think it's kind of crazy. Weidman, obviously, that's just unfortunate. So it's like a little bit of unlucky, but the Izzy, decision, that was fair. And then Cannon, it's like, it's time, dude.
He's older than me. He's 45 years old.
It's
Bro,
time.
like, yeah, time to hang him up. But I am excited. I'm more excited about the co-main event on that one because you got Bryce Mitchell, Thug Nasty, and Andre Touchy Feely. That's a good matchup.
I literally I saw one of the guys in our group say that he liked Bryce as the underdog or liked Bryce as the favorite in that fight, right? And
I mean, I know he's slick,
I
man.
love Bryce Mitchell, but Andre Feely is on. Dude, he's a top 10 guy in the world. This is,
and I don't think these guys. Maybe they do realize this, but Andre Feely's training with a guy that was on The Ultimate Fighter with Bryce Mitchell, and that you could make a strong argument, probably beat him in that fight with Tyler Diamond.
Yeah, I mean, just one judge saw it go wrong, right?
Yeah, exactly. It was a majority decision. Like, I don't know how Andre Feely is the underdog in this. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think his ground game is up there with some of the best in the UFC right now. 100%. He's got that damn twister, but dude, Andre Feely's got 28 fights.
This because everybody's excited about Bryce Mitchell, and maybe he wins, and that would be cool. But everybody's excited about Bryce. This feels to me like the classic pump the brakes on the young kid coming up. He's going against somebody with way more experience, and that there's levels to this. Bryce Mitchell might be the more advanced grappler because he's obviously very naturally gifted there and works hard at it. And he's a good striker. Andre Feely has been in there with
Michael Johnson, Calvin Kattar, Artem Lobov, Charles Jourdain, Miles Jury, like Yair Rodriguez, Max Holloway. I mean, he's been in there with everybody.
And oh, by the way, trains with Uriah Hall, Cody Garbrandt, used to train with TJ Dillashaw, Chad Mendez. Like, as a betting person, I'm rooting for Bryce Mitchell because I like him and I like the kid, but I love Andre Fili too. And I think that the value and the smart pick there is Andre Fili. And if Bryce Mitchell ties up Andre Fili in some crazy twister, heel hook, leg lock, whatever, and does something sick to him and slick to him, then okay, he's for real. But until I see it against a ranked opponent, you just gotta go with the veteran, I think.
Yeah, I'm all over that one. Another fight on this card that I'm actually really looking forward to is my man Justin Ledet. Justin, you get this done. He should win this fight.
Do you think so?
He should win this fight. This Dustin Jacoby, he should beat Justin Jacoby. It's a stand-up fight. It's like tailor-made for him, in my opinion. Jacoby's not taking it to the ground, right?
Well, it just depends on what Justin wants to do. I mean, Justin has some really good boxing. He's probably one of the best boxers I've ever trained with. And this guy's he's a kickboxer. He's a kickboxer. Well, and he's fought a boxing fight last June. If Justin decides that he's going to stand, it's going to be a banger, and then it's a coin flip on who catches who, right? Yeah. If Justin takes it to the ground, I think Justin mops him. His ground game is way better than this guy's. I mean, he's got a 2-inch reach advantage. He's going to be the bigger fighter. Justin is? Yeah. He's got an 80-inch reach. And I know from personal experience, Justin likes to rip those body shots, and you feel it. That fight right there could be a banger with both of those guys trading shots. Yeah. I like it. Yeah. Do you want to talk about the rest of the card, or do you want to save that for later this week? We'll save that for later this week. All right. I just want to talk about those two. Okay. So let's wrap it up with this. So is Khabib your GOAT? Oh, go ahead. Let me just answer that. Yeah, I'm going to ask you that. Is Khabib your GOAT? And recency bias is so huge here, right? Recency bias is, I did have a little bit of, I backed off a little bit for my stance Saturday, but I'm going to tell you what, I am super impressed with the way that he's fought every fight that he's had in the UFC, 13 fights, he brings it. Doesn't make mistakes, grinds people. He tries to finish. He punishes people. And not just one fight here and there. Hasn't been dropped. Hasn't been taken down. I've heard people make the argument that, oh, well, he hasn't fought anybody. Look, he's fighting in the UFC. He's fighting UFC fighters. To me, that's all I need to know. Now, is he fighting Hall of Fame guys on there recently? You could say a lot of these guys, yeah. He's beat everybody that has been thrown in front of him. He had some injury problems, had some weight cutting issues. But when it comes to fight time, when that cage door closes, there's not another dominant fighter out there right now. And I don't think there ever has been. But I mean, it's hard to go against what Mighty Mouse did. It's hard to go against John Jones's resume. It's hard to go against GSP's resume. But once, like DC said, they've all made mistakes in their fights. They all, you could say Matt Serra got lucky just because GSP made the mistake. You can say John Jones, he was beating the crap out of Matt Hamill. He threw that elbow. I mean, whether you agree with it or not, he made a mistake. Khabib has not made any mistakes in 13 UFC fights. That's yeah. Dude, before you even chime in, how have we not even talked about Chimaev and Leon Edwards? Oh, that's right. Put the GOAT on hold. What? Go ahead. We'll finish up the Khabib stuff and then we'll circle back and finish. How about that? I think as far as most dominating fighter, what's the criteria? What's my criteria for GOAT? It's whatever you want it to be. As of right now, Khabib is my GOAT. And I don't think anybody can really argue that. I saw that somebody said 15-0. John Jones is 15-0 in title fights in the UFC, where Khabib is only 3-0, and I can definitely get with that a little bit.
Yeah.
Except I thought John looked like the biggest insecure sourpuss pansy crying about people are removing my work and my history. No, you know what removes your work in this is you're a constant screw up.
Yeah, it's him. He could be on it. There would be no argument.
And the lack of owning it is I can't with John Jones. I can't. I have tried and tried and tried and tried. But you know what makes me want to say Khabib's the GOAT? John Jones makes me want it, because I never want to admit that guy's the GOAT, because he is such a screw up and refuses to take responsibility for it. And saying, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done it in a press conference is not taking responsibility for it. It's how you act day to day, and acting like a little entitled baby. He's worried about all the sacrifice and hard work his family and his team and all of his hard work is getting pushed to the side for this guy. You should have thought about that before you drove drunk, before you put dick pills into your body that you didn't know what is into it, before you did all these things that you constantly push all your teams and families' sacrifice and hard work to the side to do for your own pleasure. Guess who doesn't indulge in any of that? Khabib. I'll bet you that dude doesn't even take protein powder.
You know what? Something that goes a long way with me is the way that the guys conduct themselves. Like look at what GSP, his response to Khabib winning, nothing but praise. Like you look at a guy,
he's like, a real champion, real man, secure in his legacy, all
that to me, that just elevated him even more up to me. Like that, just hearing that and hearing him say that, it's like he's in the same realm as like Daniel Cormier. These guys, the Cormiers, the Khabibs, the GSPs, these guys aren't just good in the cage, they're good outside the cage. Yep. They're good for the sport. Like if I have a son that's growing up or a daughter that's growing up that wants to fight, I'm having them watch these guys. Hey, look at how respectful this guy is,
But I mean, okay, that helmet right behind you. You know why I was always pushed to love Barry Sanders? Scored a touchdown. Gave the ball to the ref every time.
Yep.
Every time. Never had to celebrate. Never had to make it be about him. Hand the ball to the ref. Celebrate with your teammates. It's never about him. He never wanted his moment in the spotlight. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing to want your moment and your due either, but there's a respect level that he always carried with him, that it was instilled with who he is. There's two types of people. There's two types of people in this world, Jason. There are good people who do bad things, and there are bad people that do good things. I tend to think that John Jones is a bad person who's done good things. When he goes and does stuff like at the riots and he's doing like things that are applaudable and stuff, that's good. It's not that he shouldn't do that, but as to the core of his person, and I don't know him.
Yeah.
And maybe Bubba's going to want to smack me for this at some point. I don't believe John Jones in his heart is a good person. I don't. Who's making a turnaround for me lately is Greg Hardy.
No, not Greg Hardy. I won't even say it. No, Conor McGregor lately, which take all the antics aside, like he's an entertainer. He's built up his fights, but he's starting to grow on me a little bit, because now you're starting to see him shift a little bit and get away from some of the antics. And he's, he had a nice little, message to Khabib, after Khabib's win, which I thought was, it was respectful. I think,
what I hope, and
it's just a difference in values between those two, because with anybody else, Conor could get away with saying that stuff too, but not with a guy like Khabib. That's just
even Khabib's dad said that they could forgive him. Like Khabib's dad, it's okay. I understand what you're doing. Khabib, no.
I mean, we understand. That's culture as Americans. Like we talk, we say stuff. We like to be entertained.
I hope one day we see a picture of Khabib and Conor together, like shaking hands or something.
I would like to see it. Yeah, I would like to see it.
Because Because to me, if Khabib's done, and I think Conor knows, and again, Conor knows Khabib enough to know that he means it. And by the way, Nate Diaz is a freaking moron for popping.
He's an idiot too. Come on.
Stop it. That made me just, again, that made me dislike somebody. But like Conor said, I'm going to carry on. Like that's Conor basically saying, okay, we're going to close that chapter. Now Conor has nothing to say about Khabib that he has no reason to. It was kind of like Cerrone too. You know, he just didn't have a reason to be that way with him. So he's just like, I'm not going to be anymore. And like you said, with Conor, it's this, I think Conor lost his way there for a bit. He
got a little attached to himself.
You know, so but it feels like he's a little more grounded. I think the donating money to Dustin Poirier's charity, even though they're fighting in the UFC, he's still doing that as a cool thing.
That's awesome. And I think it's going a long way with a lot of the guys. Because I bet you a lot of the guys are like, this guy's a freaking idiot.
But Poirier is not going to say, you know, he's not paying it. He's not going to say anything to Conor now. Conor's paying for him to put a whole new gym in Louisiana for kids.
Yeah. I mean, even when Khabib fought Poirier with him saying he was going to auction off the shirt or whatever and give the money to his charity, I thought that was that. Yeah. So those are the people that I respect. I mean,
those are the people that I mean, it got to the point where, like, you know, me and my kid got into the sport. We loved watching the Conor hype train. Like that's kind of when we got into the sport, was the Conor rise, right? And you got to a point where it's like, you know, maybe Conor's not really a great person that we should be like, you know, modeling over things over. But now, you know, it's. I was distancing myself a little bit. You'll never hear me say anything about his skills and stuff, but I was even distancing because he went too far with the Khabib stuff.
Yeah,
he went too far, and it got more than just promoting a fight and getting personal and stuff. But you know, you can learn the error of your ways. But you know, if he turns it back to that person, then you know he never really changed too.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. I think he's turned.
I mean, you know, like he said today, though, he's probably made halfway to $1 billion now between all of his fighting and his whiskey company. Like, money changes people.
Yeah.
It probably made it so he doesn't have that edge as much too, which again worries me for fighting. But again, Nate Diaz, and anybody that loves Nate Diaz, that was the dumbest tweet ever. The funniest thing ever that I saw over the weekend is there's a Twitter account called Nate Diaz Translator. That was great.
That was hilarious. That was pretty funny.
Nate Diaz was a moron.
Khabib would smash him.
Oh my gosh. Feed him to Chimaev.
If you think Khabib is just going to get caught in some silly submission, like, I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but the chances of that happening, like, I guarantee he knows very full well how to combat those submission attempts. I mean, we don't even need to get into it. I mean, it's not going to happen. It will never happen. So Chimaev, our boy.
Hey, Leon Edwards, maybe you should have taken that Wonder Boy fight.
What do you think people are sleeping on Leon on this one?
I don't. Vegas isn't.
He's a favorite, right?
Yes, he opened up as a favorite.
Yeah,
minus 175 favorite.
I mean,
that's crazy. That's crazy. Okay.
I mean,
okay.
By
the way, Leon Edwards, they moved him back to number 3 in the rankings.
Oh, wow.
Now that he took the fight.
Wow.
Oh, that's so funny to me.
But here's a guy in Chimaev who's, what is he, 3 fights deep in the UFC?
3. And
he's getting a top 3 guy. A guy that has, 9 wins in a row?
Nobody will fight him, though. Nobody will fight Chimaev.
And Leon Edwards' last loss is Kamaru Usman, and now he's going to get thrown in against Chimaev. What if he beats Chimaev?
Then he has to be the number 1 contender. Then I don't know.
Then he can kind of call it. Could he kind of call a shot then, or has he still got to kind of shut up?
Yeah. So here's the breakdown on this. Without looking at your phone,
okay.
Recall one impressive Leon Edwards moment ever.
I can't.
can't. He has no highlights.
Yeah, he really doesn't. I mean,
he beat his best win is over an aged Donald Cerrone.
RDA maybe
RDA, but like Donald Cerrone, when Donald Cerrone just like wasn't kind of really in it, he had one of his nights where he said he was off, and it's like, and he didn't even finish him. I mean, he won. He looked impressive.
He had a split decision win against Gunnar Nelson too. That's not very impressive either.
It's not great, dude. Like he's, people are talking about this. Like he hasn't beat the guys to be like, I'm undeniably.
Why hasn't he? I don't understand why he hasn't gotten a
COVID kind of screwed him. COVID kind of screwed him, right, with the Tyron Woodley fight. Because instead of Burns, it probably is him that beats Tyron up pretty good.
Yeah.
Right. I think we're on the same page with that. But man, it's Leon Edwards does everything right, except be remotely entertaining or interesting at all. That's what Chael Sonnen said, and I agree with it 100%.
Yeah.
He doesn't have wins against ranked opponents, like tons of ranked opponents. Look at who he's beat now. I think Vicente Luque is the only person and RDA. I think those are the only two people that are still ranked that he holds wins over. In that 9-fight win streak, only two ranked opponent wins. That doesn't doesn't entitle you to an automatic number one contender. I get to fight the champ next spot. It doesn't. 7 wins against unranked guys doesn't do that. Unless you turn yourself into a marketing machine and you become undeniable that the UFC needs to put you in that spot.
Yeah.
That's the business side of it, and that's unfortunate for him. And what's really unfortunate to him is that Chimaev's coming, and Chimaev's going to put that show down. And if he beats Chimaev, this is where it's worth it for Leon Edwards. If he beats Chimaev, he gets to be like, I'm the one that ended the hype train of the next big thing in the UFC.
True.
Now he's done something interesting. He's done something that nobody else has been able to do, including 2 185ers.
That's very true.
It makes them interesting. Now, Leon Edwards is the guy that derailed Chimaev. Now we can sell a title fight. That was the thing before. You couldn't really sell it.
No, nobody.
His most famous moment in the UFC to date right now is that he got 3-piece in a soda from Jorge Masvidal backstage. That's it.
That's his claim to fame.
He was popping off to Jorge Masvidal, and Jorge stepped to him in front of all of his dudes and gave him that 3-piece in a soda.
Yeah. What does this do what would that do to Chimaev's stock if he beats Leon Edwards? Like he
becomes the number 3 welterweight in the world and takes his ranking.
Yeah, man, that would be. Then you get Kobe and Jorge fighting.
Then you get Chimaev and Wonderboy.
It sounds like
because then Wonderboy just wants to fight people that are above him.
Yeah, it sounds like Burns and Usman might be fighting soon.
The announcement should be like January. I would bet it would happen in January.
Yeah, I just saw Burns posted something today on Instagram that said there was news.
It was supposed to be December 12th, but I'll bet you that just got moved to January. Yeah.
They stick it on there with Conor and Poirier, or no?
Ooh.
No, because I don't know. There's lots of good stuff going around. That's all I know. How's training going?
Great.
Feeling good?
Got up and ran 3.5 miles today.
It was freezing.
Yep. There's something about training in the cold that I just love. I feel it's like football season. Like it's in my body's biological clock DNA. Like it's cold, it's football season, it's the fall. Like
you got a little Khabib in you, a little Russian in you.
Let's get after it.
You got a little Russian in you. Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm definitely not saying that.
So I should put all my money on you. Is that what you're saying?
You should put more money on me because you're my friend, you dick.
Oh man.
No, dude, training's good. We had a good.
Johan texted me last night. He says, I know you missed the Marine Corps, but I bet you don't miss doing boots and utes runs. I'm like, Nope, I do not miss that.
What
Boots
is
and
that?
utes are where you're wearing your cami bottoms and your boots and a t-shirt and you go on a run.
How long?
At a minimum 3 miles. But when you're running in your boots and your cami bottoms, it sucks.
Hurt your feet?
Yes.
Does he have to do that?
He did it yesterday. That's why he messaged me. I was like, no, I don't. That part I do not miss. I thought
bad wear and tear on your body.
Oh, it is. In fact, when I was in there, there was talk that they weren't allowing the Marines to do it anymore. We did it occasionally, but not very often. So I guess they did it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing a little homework. I think I got what I need to for this fight. We're good. I really liked what Lehigh said earlier on it. Like, and I'm not as worried about winning or losing, and I'm just enjoying like being able to fight.
That's good. I think it's a great mindset.
And I feel like the pressure is just. I don't know if I've said it on the podcast or if we've just talked about it, but it's like I just feel like there's just no pressure for me this fight.
There shouldn't be.
Like it's just fun. Like I felt like that there was a lot of added pressure on my last fight with Ryan, especially my title fight with Scott. I felt like there was pressure because I had everybody saying like you should beat this guy. You should win, And even though I felt confident in my preparation for both of those fights, I feel very confident in my preparation for this fight. That added pressure of feeling like I should win, so I better not make a mistake. Like there's nothing like fighting. Like there's nothing like it. And but I feel like this fight I'm just enjoying it a little bit more.
That's good. You learned a little bit from your last fight, so
yeah, maybe that's a positive. I don't know if I'd feel that way either way, but I mean, yeah, I think if I was 5-0 and not 4-1, yeah, I think that pressure might still be there a little bit, but
yeah, but I mean, you could definitely look back on that last one and see some things that maybe it went wrong. Maybe not necessarily in the fight, but leading up to the fight where you're.
Would be really interesting actually is we'll watch my fight with you. We'll watch my last fight sometime. My fight with Ryan, and I can point out big mistakes that I made in that fight where I should have been able to finish it, but I didn't.
Well, 3 weeks. What are we? 3 weeks away? Yeah, 3 weeks, right?
Just under 3 weeks.
Exciting, man. I'm stoked. Training on Saturday?
Always.
Maybe I'll come up. I don't think I got anything this Saturday.
Now that you're not sick or out ghosts.
I do got to go buy my daughter a turtle. My daughter wants a turtle.
Don't do it.
Why?
We had 2 red-eared sliders, like those water turtles.
Yeah, that's what she wants.
No, don't do it.
Are they bad? Are they hard to take care
of? You have to clean out the tank like once a week, or it gets disgusting, and it's a pain in the what. It's a pain.
I was hoping it would bribe her to come over to my house a little bit if we kept the turtle here. That was kind of my thinking.
You can't just get one. You got to get 2. You got to get 2 guys. You can't be lonely.
It's a good thing she doesn't listen to this because she probably would.
You have to get 2.
I text her mom this morning. And I'm like, I guess I got to buy a turtle. She's like, tell her no. I told her after the cats die. And I'm like, I can't tell her no. Can't tell my daughter no. She just can't do that, man.
That's why I don't want a daughter, because I want to be able to tell her no.
Yeah. We had a little.
We had 2 red-eared sliders for a while, and cleaning the tank sucked.
There you go, Hillary. Get a snake instead. Yeah.
We had a snake. When we got married, Hillary had a snake, and we had a snake for a while. Very low maintenance.
I had one. Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you have?
I had a red boa, I think is what I had.
Cool. Hillary had a ball python.
Oh, nice.
Very cool little snake. Very low maintenance. Very easy.
I had a leopard gecko too. I'll have to tell you off air what happened to him.
Hunter has one of those right now.
They're pretty cool.
Hunter has one in his room. Yeah,
feeding them are pretty cool.
Little worms.
Yeah, or those little mice, baby mice, the dead ones.
Oh, we've never done that with the leopard.
Yeah, they like those.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right.
I guess we'll wrap it up for today. It was a good one.
Hey, I gotta give a shout out to 2 of my sponsors real quick.
Let's do it.
So Legacy Roofing, they are the only company that's an approved distributor for the new Tesla shingles in Utah.
Nice.
So if anybody's interested in getting those Tesla shingles on their roof, they are the place to go to get those. I'm just pulling up. You can call Vanessa at 801-499-0844 for Legacy Roofing. And they come and give you like free estimates and free quotes on your roofs after the storms and stuff. You know, they come out. And then got to give a shout out to my boy Tyler at Big O. Big O Tires in Bountiful right now. They're running a deal right now, $100 instant savings on all tires, and then $70 instant savings on Michelin and BFG tires right now. So if anybody needs new tires, go hit up my guy Tyler at Big O. That sounds like they have some sales going on.
Nice. Very nice. All right. Until next time, we out of here.
Khabib's the GOAT.